Before you watch this story, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel right now. What you're about to witness is a story about hitting rock bottom and finding redemption in the most unexpected place. This is the story of a powerful female CEO who lost everything, and how two teenage janitor's daughters saved her life. The twist will absolutely shock you. Trust me, you need to see this. Victoria Ashford had been the CEO of Ashford Financial Services for 15 years. She was one of the most powerful women in the financial industry. She had a corner office on the 52nd floor of a Manhattan skyscraper. She had a six-figure salary, stock options worth millions, and a reputation as a brilliant, ruthless businesswoman. Victoria was also completely alone. She'd never married. She had no children. Her relationships with her family had deteriorated over the years as she'd focused obsessively on her career. She had friends, she thought, but most of them were colleagues who wanted something from her: money, access, or connections. Victoria believed that success meant having power, having money, having control. She'd achieved all of those things, but she was empty inside. Then, everything changed. An investigation by the Securities and Exchange Commission revealed that Ashford Financial Services had been engaging in fraudulent practices for years. The company had been misrepresenting investment returns to clients. They'd been deliberately misleading investors to extract higher fees. They'd been breaking the law in multiple ways. Victoria, as CEO, was held personally responsible. She was arrested. She was charged with fraud. She was convicted and sentenced to 5 years in federal prison. Her company was shut down. Her assets were frozen. Her reputation was destroyed. Victoria went from being one of the most powerful women in finance to being inmate number 47382 in a federal prison. When she was released after serving her sentence, Victoria was a different person. She was 58 years old. She had no job, no money, no prospects. She was living in a small apartment, working minimum wage jobs just to survive. That's when she met the janitor and his twin daughters. Victoria had gotten a job at a cleaning company that provided janitorial services to office buildings. She was making minimum wage, working the night shift, cleaning offices after the professional workers had left for the day. It was humbling work. It was backbreaking work. But it was honest work, and Victoria needed the money. One night, Victoria was cleaning the offices of a small consulting firm when she encountered a man and his two teenage daughters also cleaning the offices. The man's name was Marcus Williams. The daughters' names were Sophia and Lily, and they were 16 years old and identical twins. Marcus was working the same night shift cleaning jobs that Victoria was working. He had his daughters helping him because they were saving money for college and because they wanted to spend time with their father. Victoria noticed immediately how Marcus talked to his daughters. He treated them with respect. He listened to them. He asked them questions about their lives. He was genuinely interested in them as people, not just as his children or as workers. Victoria had never experienced that kind of family dynamic. She'd never seen a parent relate to their children as though they were valuable human beings worthy of real attention and care. One night, as Victoria was cleaning an office, she overheard Sophia and Lily talking. "Mom's been really stressed about the medical bills," Sophia was saying. "She keeps worrying about not having enough money for our college tuition." "Yeah," Lily agreed. "And Dad's working so hard. He's always tired. I just wish there was something we could do to help." Victoria listened to this conversation, and something shifted inside her. These teenage girls were worried about their parents' financial difficulties. They wanted to help. They cared about their families' well-being more than they cared about themselves. It was so different from Victoria's experience of teenagers, where most of them seemed self-absorbed and entitled. "Excuse me," Victoria said, approaching the girls. "I couldn't help but overhear. I'm sorry if that's rude, but I wanted to tell you something. The fact that you care about your parents' well-being, the fact that you're thinking about how to help them, that says something beautiful about who you are as people." Sophia and Lily looked at Victoria with a mixture of surprise and wariness. After all, she was a stranger. "I'm Victoria," Victoria continued, extending her hand. "And I used to be someone very different from who I am now. I used to be a CEO. I used to have money and power and all the things people are supposed to want. But I lost it all. And you know what I've learned? Having money and power doesn't make you happy. Having people who care about you, having values, having integrity, that's what makes you happy. She looked at the girls. You two are going to be fine, Victoria said. You're going to go to college. You're going to be successful. Not because you get everything you want, but because you care about the right things. You care about your family. You care about each other. That matters more than money. Sophia and Lily listened carefully. Something about Victoria's words seemed sincere. Something about her seemed like she actually understood what she was talking about. Thank you, Lily said. That's kind of you to say. Over the next several weeks, Victoria, Marcus, Sophia, and Lily became friends. They would work together on the same night shift, and they would talk during their breaks. Victoria learned about Marcus's life, his wife who'd been sick and had passed away 2 years ago, his struggle to raise his daughters alone, his dreams for their future. And Marcus learned about Victoria's life, her fall from power, her prison sentence, her struggle to rebuild from nothing. One night, Marcus asked Victoria a question that she'd been avoiding asking herself. What are you going to do now? Marcus asked. You're doing this cleaning work, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I sense you have more to offer. I sense you have skills that could be used for something bigger. Victoria shook her head. I'm a convicted felon, she said. No company is going to hire me. My reputation is destroyed. I don't think I have a future in business anymore. Maybe you need a different kind of business, Marcus suggested. Maybe you need to start something new. Something that's about more than just making money. Victoria thought about what Marcus had said. She'd spent 30 years in the financial industry climbing the ladder, pursuing power and money. And where had it gotten her? To prison. To losing everything. To working a minimum wage cleaning job at 58 years old. Maybe Marcus was right. Maybe she needed to start something different. Victoria started thinking about what she'd learned through her fall and her recovery. She thought about her experience in prison, where she'd seen so many women from disadvantaged backgrounds who'd made poor choices because they didn't have support or opportunity or guidance. She thought about her experience working minimum wage jobs, where she'd seen hardworking people struggling to survive despite doing everything right. She thought about Sophia and Lily, two brilliant, kind teenagers who were worried about money and their future, even though they shouldn't have had to worry about those things at 16. Victoria realized something important. She realized that there was a huge need in the world for mentorship and support for young people from disadvantaged backgrounds. She realized that she had the skills and experience to help create opportunities for people like Marcus's daughters. Victoria approached Marcus with an idea. I want to start a non-profit organization, Victoria said. An organization that provides mentorship, education funding, and career guidance to teenagers from low-income families. I want to help people like Sophia and Lily have better opportunities. Marcus listened carefully. That's a beautiful idea, he said. But how will you fund it? You don't have any money. I'll figure it out, Victoria said. I'll start small. I'll work part-time at the cleaning job to pay my bills, and I'll spend my other time building this organization. Victoria started the organization called Second Chances, which would later be different from Margaret Chen's organization of the same name. She'd chosen the name because she believed in giving people second chances, just as she'd been given one. She began by reaching out to successful women in business, women who, like her, had been fortunate enough to have opportunities. She told them about the organization and asked if they would volunteer as mentors. She asked if they would be willing to guide and support young people from disadvantaged backgrounds. Most women said no. Many of them were too busy. Some of them didn't believe that it was their responsibility to help. But some women said yes. And from those few women, Victoria built a network of mentors. Sophia and Lily became her first clients. Victoria connected Sophia with a woman named Dr. Patricia Lee, a successful engineer who agreed to mentor Sophia in math and science. She connected Lily with a woman named Angela Williams, a successful lawyer who agreed to mentor Lily in critical thinking and debate. Under these mentorships, both Sophia and Lily thrived. Their grades improved dramatically. Their confidence grew. They started thinking about their futures in entirely new ways. But more importantly, Victoria realized something about herself through working with these young women. She realized that she'd spent her entire life pursuing the wrong things. She realized that real success wasn't about how much money you made or how much power you had. Real success was about making a difference in other people's lives. Victoria was happier working 70-hour weeks building her non-profit organization than she'd ever been as a CEO of a major financial company. She was more fulfilled spending time with Sophia and Lily than she'd ever been in executive meetings. 5 years into running Second Chances, Victoria had mentored over 300 young people. She'd raised $2 million in funding. She'd connected hundreds of teenagers with successful mentors who could guide them toward better futures. Many of her mentees had gone to college on scholarships. Some had gotten jobs at major companies. Some had started their own businesses. All of them had been given opportunities they wouldn't have had otherwise. And Victoria had become known not as a disgraced CEO, but as a woman who'd rebuilt her life and dedicated that life to helping others rebuild theirs. One day, Victoria received a call from someone she hadn't heard from in years. It was James Chen, a venture capitalist who'd known Victoria before her fall. "Victoria," James said, "I've been following your work with the Second Chances organization. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. I want to invest in what you're doing." James offered to provide significant funding for the organization. He offered to connect Victoria with other investors who might be interested in supporting her work. He offered to help her scale the organization to serve thousands of young people instead of hundreds. Victoria was grateful for James's support, but she was also cautious. She'd learned that accepting money could come with strings attached. "Why do you want to invest?" Victoria asked carefully. "Because I have a daughter," James said. "She's 16 years old. And I want her to grow up in a world where people like you, people who've made mistakes and learned from them, use their experience to help others. I want her to grow up in a world where second chances are real. I want her to understand that people are more than their worst moments." With James's investment and support, Second Chances grew exponentially. Within 2 years, the organization was operating in 15 cities. Within 5 years, it was operating in 40 cities. Victoria had mentored thousands of young people and had trained hundreds of volunteer mentors. But something even more extraordinary happened. Victoria's story became public. A journalist wrote about her, a story about a disgraced CEO, a prison sentence, and her work rebuilding her life by helping others. The story went viral. It was featured in major magazines and news outlets. Suddenly, Victoria was being asked to speak at conferences. She was being asked to write a book. She was being invited to serve on boards. She was being recognized not for her past failures, but for her current work and her redemption. Most importantly, Sophia and Lily graduated from high school with honors. Both of them were accepted to Harvard University. Both of them were offered full scholarships based on their academic achievement and their volunteer work mentoring younger students. On their graduation day, Sophia and Lily approached Victoria. "We want you to know something," Sophia said. "When we were cleaning offices with our dad, we never imagined where our lives would go. We never thought we'd be going to Harvard. We never thought we'd have a mentor like you." Lily continued, "You believed in us when we didn't fully believe in ourselves. You showed us that it was possible to dream bigger. You changed our lives." Victoria hugged both of them, tears streaming down her face. "You changed my life," Victoria said. "You and your father. You showed me what was important. You showed me what real success looks like. I owe everything to you." 10 years after Victoria first met Marcus and his daughters, she was 68 years old and reflecting on her journey. Victoria had written a book called Second Chances, My Journey from Disgrace to Purpose, that had become a bestseller. The book detailed her rise as a CEO, her fall through fraud and prison, and her rebuilding of her life through helping others. The book resonated with millions of people. People who'd made mistakes and were trying to rebuild. People who'd experienced failure and were looking for hope. People who wanted to use their skills and experience to help others. Speaking engagements and book royalties had given Victoria enough money to live comfortably, though she never made the kind of wealth she'd had before. And she was okay with that. She'd learned that the difference between having enough and having too much wasn't that significant. What mattered was having purpose. Marcus had retired from the cleaning business. He was now the operations director of Second Chances, helping Victoria manage the organization. Sophia had graduated from Harvard and was working at a non-profit focused on education equity. Lily had also graduated from Harvard and was attending law school with plans to work on criminal justice reform. Victoria and Marcus had become lifelong friends. They'd built something together that was bigger than both of them. One evening, Victoria was giving a speech at a major conference about business, ethics, and redemption. She stood on stage in front of 2,000 business leaders and entrepreneurs. "I used to think that success meant climbing the ladder," Victoria said. "It meant having the biggest corner office, the highest salary, the most power. I did all of those things. And I was miserable. I was empty. I was disconnected from everything that makes life meaningful." She paused, looking out at the audience. "Then I lost everything," she continued. "I went to prison. I lost my company, my money, my reputation. I thought my life was over. But it wasn't over. It was just beginning." Victoria told the story of meeting Marcus and his daughters while working as a janitor. She told them about the conversation she'd overheard between Sophia and Lily about their parents' financial struggles. She told them about the moment she realized that what mattered wasn't money or power, but love and connection and purpose. "I started an organization called Second Chances," Victoria said. "Not to rebuild my career. Not to get back the power I'd lost. But to give other people what I'd been given. A second chance, an opportunity, a belief that they could be more than their circumstances suggested." She looked at the business leaders. "Here's what I want you to know," Victoria said. "Your worth isn't determined by your title or your salary or your power. Your worth is determined by what you do with what you have. Your worth is determined by whether you use your skills and your resources to help other people or just to enrich yourself." She concluded, "I could have spent my second chance feeling bitter about losing my position. I could have tried to rebuild my career in the financial industry, but that would have been a waste of the gift I'd been given. Instead, I used my second chance to help others get their own second chances. And that's been the most meaningful work of my entire life." After the speech, Victoria was approached by a young woman who'd been in the audience. "Thank you," the young woman said. "I'm the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. I have everything society says I should want. And I'm miserable. Hearing your story made me realize that I need to change. I need to use my position and my resources to help people, not just to accumulate more wealth and power." Victoria smiled. She understood exactly what this woman was going through. She understood the emptiness that came from pursuing the wrong things. "Start small," Victoria suggested. "Start mentoring young people. Start volunteering with nonprofits. Start investing in causes you believe in. See what changes inside you when you focus on helping others instead of helping yourself." Years later, that young woman would become one of the major donors to Second Chances. She would transform her entire company's culture to focus on social impact. She would eventually step down from her CEO position to dedicate herself full-time to nonprofit work. But that was just one of many stories. Victoria's influence rippled out in countless ways. Thousands of young people had been mentored through her organization. Thousands of business leaders had been inspired by her story to use their power and resources differently. Thousands of people had understood, through her example, that redemption was possible and that second chances were real. Victoria often thought back to that night when she was cleaning offices and overheard Sophia and Lily talking about their parents' financial struggles. She thought about how a casual conversation had led to a friendship that had led to an organization that had changed thousands of lives. She thought about how hitting rock bottom, losing everything she'd thought she needed, had actually freed her to find everything she actually needed. She thought about how working as a janitor, which she'd initially seen as a humiliation, had turned out to be a gift. It had brought her into contact with people like Marcus and his daughters who'd reminded her what was important. Most of all, she thought about how the twins had changed her life in seconds, not through some dramatic action, but simply by being kind, by caring about their family, by reminding Victoria through their existence what real values looked like. Final call to action. If this story moved you, If it made you think about what really matters in life and what true success looks like, then I need you to do something right now. Hit that like button. Share this video with someone. It could be someone climbing the corporate ladder who needs to be reminded of what matters, someone who's experienced failure and needs to know that redemption is possible, or someone who needs inspiration to use their power and resources to help others. Subscribe to our channel so you never miss these stories about redemption, finding purpose, and what it really means to succeed. Because here's the truth. Society tells us that success means having money, power, status, and control. But that kind of success is empty. That kind of success can lead you to make unethical choices, to become disconnected from what matters, to end up hollow and alone. Real success is about having purpose. Real success is about making a difference in other people's lives. Real success is about having relationships built on genuine connection and shared values. Real success is about being the kind of person who helps others rather than exploiting them. If you're climbing the ladder in your career right now, please pause and ask yourself, is this ladder taking me where I actually want to go? Am I sacrificing things that matter for things that don't? What would it look like to use my skills and resources to help other people instead of just enriching myself? And if you've experienced failure or fallen from grace, please know that your story isn't over. Your worst moment doesn't define your entire life. You can rebuild. You can find purpose. You can become someone who helps others avoid the mistakes you made. Your fall can become the foundation for something meaningful. Leave a comment below and tell us, have you ever realized that what you were chasing wasn't actually what you wanted? Have you ever experienced redemption or a second chance? Have you ever used your resources or skills to help someone else rebuild their life? Share your story in the comments. Your experience might inspire someone else to reconsider their priorities or to believe in redemption. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We release new stories every single week about real people who found redemption, who discovered their purpose, and who transformed their lives by helping others. We'll see you in the next video. Stay purposeful, stay connected, and remember, your greatest contribution to the world might come after your greatest failure. Thank you so much for watching.